Let's take a listen to the track.
So you think you've had enough?
Another.
Yes, sir.
I love that shit. Down in the description, there'll be a link for a folder of samples and sound design samples that I did that come from this project and a couple other projects I've been working on. I'll just go ahead and give that freebie. It'll be on a Patreon link. It takes no money to join the Patreon. I just use that to post the links there, but go ahead and join it. If you guys want to donate, go ahead and donate. First thing that I want to iterate to you is nothing on the master. Since we're sound designing, I do dubstep. It's going to be a loud genre, but here's the thing. The number one reason why I want you to have nothing on the master is because I want you to get into the spirit of not following rules. People will always put something on the master and it usually hurts them in the end. And this will create an environment to where whenever you make a sound, it's not muffled, it doesn't get compressed or anything. It's nice and free. So whenever you do something to it, it's fine. Whenever you go into the master and you go in the red and master and you hear, it's red. I understand that. I know it's loud, but it clips. I usually put a clipper on my master anyway, but you know what? Ableton has a clipper through the master. Whenever you render out a track, it actually like removes some of the clipping, and it's actually really cool, and it keeps things really dynamic. That's the second thing. The third thing, I want you to start getting used to loud, abrupt sounds. Super loud, abrupt sounds. I know some people want to put a limiter at something. Don't put it on the master. Put it on your track if it's really that bad. But don't put something on your master. You want it to sound nice and clean, especially when you're sound designing. So then everything can cut through. Let's give you an example here. If I have OTT, I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit, but whenever we're sound designing in Serum, this isn't the sound that's really coming out. This is an OTT sound, and I put OTT on here because I want you guys to know I don't like OTT on the master. It phases out. It does a lot of silly things to your transients, but see what this is gonna do is gonna train your ears to be okay with harsh sounds. Which some of the harsh sounds in dubstep and stuff right now, it's okay. That's where dubstep is going. It's okay to be loud and harsh. Whenever you're dialing it in, you're listening for all the harmonics. You want to get a nice clean hear of it. So then eventually, once you pick a sound, you can lower the volume whenever you're done. So then it's not really that harsh. But when you're sound designing, you really do need it to be kind of loud. And you need to be okay with loud sounds. One of the things that I like to do is instead of creating a sound, instead of like having a recreation of reses, 808s or whatever, you know, just a recreation of stuff, I just like to take things and just make something very simple. And I like to get into the spirit of destroying sounds, okay? That's what I want to get into the spirit of, destroying sounds. So I'll take this, FM from B. That's usually the move for me. FM from B. let's go at it from a different angle. Don't just, you know, try to recreate something or anything like that. It's just take a sound and let's destroy it. So now I got a MIDI. Here's how I like to destroy my, you could take a preset, you can do whatever you want with it, but this is kind of just how I do it. I work through audio mostly. See, that's pretty cool. See, I couldn't really detect the transient, so it's got these. We destroyed it. Now we got this. So each stage that we're doing it, we're just doing something random, and as long as it's better than where it was, it's fine. See, I think that's cool. And here's the best part about destroying sounds. I didn't want this type of sound to come out, but it's okay. We're going to destroy this sound. We're going to make it into something completely different. Let's get something over here. I have something called Sound Destroyers, and it's some racks that I made. See, that's pretty cool. Freeze track. Flatten. All right, so now I'm going to bring this up a little. So now we got a destroyed sound, right? Let's do a loop. Shit, let's destroy the sound then. Let's just put some of this on here. Put a hyperchorus on here. This thing is ridiculous. That actually does sound kind of cool. Flatten the track. Let's go to beats. Let's bring this down a little bit. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm not committing myself to anything, okay? I'm not committing myself to anything. See, this is really cool, what I just made. And that's fine. So I'm going to save it, you know, Control J, and it's going to be now into my current project folder, and it's going to be in samples. It's going to be in process, consolidated as the last one. Because I'm not committed to anything. I made this here. Which is completely something different from what I was aiming for, but that's completely okay because I'm not really aiming for anything right now. I'm just creating. The third thing I want to tell you about is just sampling stupid shit. Sample stupid shit, like videos on Instagram, movie shows, TV shows. Check this out.
Don't you think you've had enough?
Another.
Yes, sir.
That's from King of the Hill. All I really did was, you know, distort it and put a little bit of feedback on it. And feedback, what I'm talking about is the feedback on Saturn 2. If you go on Saturn 2, here's a cool trick. You can go to the feedback amount, and then you put the frequency at like a 30 or a 40. You got kind of like mess with it. It's pretty cool. It's the vocal right before the drop.
Don't you think you've had enough?
Another.
Yes, sir.
Just sample stupid shit. Stupid shit. I got tons of shit that's sampled. One of the things that you're gonna do while you're sound designing, you're gonna discover yourself doing the same thing over and over again, and that's a good thing. Don't worry about doing something different every time. I made like this group here. I just kind of like went into like sound design mode, and it was just like automatic, and it just all these things turn into instinct. And it'll get repetitive. And one of the things that I find that I like to do is I like to layer samples. So I have this, and I'll make another track here, and then I'll record it, and then I'll just use the same groups. And I'll do that. And so this is how like I got my fills over here. So if you take a look at this, yeah, that's like 3 different layers of shit. And over here too, if we go over here, I think I put a sample, and then I just kind of like did like some audio thing over here. And that's a habit of mine. I seem to do it all the time. And I go into sound design mode, and this is what you need to create for yourself, is turning some of these motions into instincts. And then once I found out that I had like this habit, I kind of leaned into it, and I said, you know what, let's keep doing it. And then you get better at it. you'll find something like this layering technique that I found. You'll find something that you do. Like I just do FM from B from Serum. That's all I really do. That's all I get. That's how I get my 6 sounds and shit. And then I can lower it. I could put a sub on it afterwards. This is one of my favorite ones. So if you go to analog, basic shapes, 4, global, turn the width all the way down. So then it's mono. Make it a square. Turn the random off. And then I'll go to the menu and render resample to oscillator A. What I'll do is I'll edit this and I'll find like some cool tones that I like. So what I'll do is I'll grab like 19, there you go, and then remove all that's selected, and then I'll morph it, crossfade. This is another habit of mine. Is I like this. I know what comb filters do, but like just doing it through the delay is like way more satisfying. That's just another habit of mine. This is so much fun. I can do this forever. Whenever you're making a sound, don't go for the first sound that you make. Go through a few iterations. Make 4 or 5 before you decide on one. Yeah, I remember this one. So this is kind of like my fills that I made over here, and I believe these are like the first. Yeah, that was the first one, and then as I go through these are different iterations of it. So. And I think I finally settled for this one. Sounds nice and full. Yeah, that's what I did. And the last one is save your work. So if you're making a Serum preset, like I was earlier, where is it? I don't even know where it's at anymore. Yeah, see? I need to save that. Save your work whenever you're doing sound design. I usually just work on audio because it's like the easiest way for me to like save it. But eventually, you'll have like a sound design pack, kind of like sounds that you've made that you can like put back into your DAW and you can really start fucking with. Like it doesn't even have to be like samples that need to go within a certain drop or this certain section. You don't have to just use the raw sample. You can just use the sample and then put more sound design on it. That's like one of the best ways of doing it. See, I have this now saved, so if I'm making a new song, see, now I can use that. See if I can get some kind of delay on here. That sounds cool. Get the beats. And now I got like a cool little lead to go over a bass line. See, this is pretty cool. And there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. All these samples that I've made and the track and the project file, among other samples across songs that I've been working on, I'm going to put into a downloadable folder. I don't know if I could be able to name all of them though. They'll have some crazy names like this, but they'll all be rendered down to 16-bit, and I will put it up on Patreon. You don't have to pay any money to join my Patreon, but it would be nice. But If you want to download these, join my Patreon. Absolutely free. You don't need a subscription to get the access to the samples. Just go ahead and join my Patreon. Thank you guys so much.